Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. In this video we're going to be exploring another Global War 1936 to 1945 expansion set. This one is called River Monitors. As you know from watching my videos, especially the one on the map, there are lots of rivers on this map, and that's kind of cool because they add to the game, right? Like crossing a river. There's problems involved with that. And in this, you'll see how else you can use a river because we have things that travel along rivers. Of course, we can't use the regular ships, like you can't drive or you can't sail a battleship up a river, but they give you some ships or some boats that you can sail up a river. So let's just take a look at what you get in this set. It's a pretty small set. It doesn't cost that much money, but you'll see here. So this is a British monitor. It's called a monitor, and let's just take a little closer look at that. So it's a shallow water boat, and it's really heavily fortified. Anyway, you only get one of them. It's the British one, and this marker up top here that says monitor on it, that is what you can use like when there's not much space. So you could just keep this sculpt off the board, and you can use this marker in a territory where there's not enough space for you to have this big marker in, because you're not used to having ships in a territory. Usually they're in a sea zone, right? And these other things, these are not monitors, but they're also river boats. They're called patrol boats. So there's 6 of these markers in the set. So let's just take a look at what happens with this. So we'll just go up to the second page here, and it just tells you a little bit about. See, there's a picture of a monitor there, river monitor, and it just tells you, hey, this is a set, and this is what's here. Okay, so there it tells you what's in there, and I just showed you. There's not a lot to it. So as far as monitors were a class of warship developed during the later part of the 1800s and improved during the early 20th century. The general characteristics of these later monitors were that they were smaller, shallow draft vessels designed to operate inshore, but equipped with outsized guns and heavy armor. Their shallow drafts allowed them to operate in littoral zones and river mouths, and their large guns were often used to support troops on shore. A few of these monitors were still in service during World War II. So that's why they don't give you a whole bunch of these monitors, right? Like they weren't common, but they were there, there was a few of them that were used in the war on rivers. But they didn't want to overdo it, right? Like you don't want to put 20 monitors in a set and then have the whole game about monitors, because that just wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be normal. Okay, so here's the stats for that monitor, for that sculpt there. So it attacks at 5. It's got a shore bombardment of 3. It defends at 3. It moves 1, and of course you cannot build it. You start the game with it. It starts, I believe, in Sea Zone 25. We'll look at that in a bit. So like I said, the shore bombardment of 3. To use it now, a monitor may move along rivers in friendly owned land zones and is treated as if it were a river boat, with the following exceptions. First of all, a monitor that combat moves into enemy land zone with other friendly land units may use its shore bombardment attack on the first round of combat and can be eliminated as a casualty. And also, when in combat with other riverboats, the monitor attacks and defends on an 8. So you bump these stats up when it goes into a fight with one of those patrol boats. And it just tells you, like I said earlier, to use that acrylic marker to save space on the board. If you're in a large territory that doesn't have too many units, you might as well use it though, right? Okay, so, and then it tells you what a patrol boat is. So a river patrol boat allows a nation to treat a river as if it were a railroad for purposes of tracing supply paths and using it for strategic rail movement. A river boat may move only along a river. A river patrol boat is produced at a factory and can then be placed in any zone within a supply path of that factory. It's got attack and defense value, but you'll see that that doesn't mean you can shoot anybody with it. And you can only move one space with it, and it only costs 1. So mostly these things are just for moving stuff. Like you're not going to shoot at other land troops um, or at land troops or at aircraft or anything like that. Basically, that attack and defense is just for fighting against other river patrol boats. So here, like it says, a river patrol boat has no combat value. It cannot combat, move, attack, or defend, or be taken as a casualty, except, let's just move down. Okay, for elimination, a river patrol boat is immediately eliminated if it is alone in a zone with enemy land units, or if it is the only viable target of an air attack. Two river patrol boats in the same river and in the same territory can attack each other with an attack defense value of 5. So that's what I was looking for. So they can only attack and defend against each other, other river patrol boats. Two riverboats on a river that is the border between two nations, and as occurs between Amur and Manchuria. So here, like you see here, this is what they're talking about. This border here. When you have a border on both sides of a river, then that means that the river is the border, and that is as opposed to. Let's just take a look somewhere else, like here. You can see the river is on this side of the border of this territory. It's not in the middle. It's on one side of it. But that one over there, the river is actually the border of the territory. So, so when you have that, they act as if the zone they are in. Sorry, let me start over again. A riverboats on a river that is a border between two nations. Act as if they are in the zone of the nation and are never eliminated unless an enemy owns both sides of the border. A river boat pairs 1-to-1 with attacking land units to negate the -1 attacker penalty for a river border. So that's the other thing that you can do is with a riverboat. So let's say you have a riverboat on the border there, and let's just grab a land unit here and grab another land unit. Now normally, let's say that you wanted to cross the river here. Now normally you would be -1 attacking because you're going across a river, but you compare it with this guy. This guy's not going to shoot, but this guy does not lose the he does not go -1 anymore. He's just gonna roll at his normal. That doesn't mean that, like, if you were to bring 5 guys in, they would all do that. It's only 1-to-1. So only one guy or one whatever, like it could be a tank, it could be any kind of land unit. This is going to help it so it's not -1 anymore. Anyway, let's move back here. And it's always available, so you don't have to wait until a certain point in time to use it or anything like that. So I guess that's about it. That's it's just basically like it's not really an attack thing. It just helps that to negate that -1. And like I said here, it allows the nation to treat a river as if it were a railroad for purposes of tracing a supply path. So if you have a riverboat, you can say, okay, this is a supply path now if you're on that river, right? Okay, let's see if there's anything else. I think we're just about done here though. Oh, it's just a setup, right? So yeah, that's the last page. So when you're setting it up, you put one in Brazil in this river. There's a Polish riverboat, a Romanian riverboat, a Japanese riverboat on a more northern Manchuria border, and that would be right here. So I guess you would probably want to place a Japanese roundel with a riverboat on top, just so you know who owns that one. It's different like with the Romanian one because the river is in Romania, right? But with when you're on the border there, you kind of have to say who it is because they're not color coded, right? Like there's not a Japanese riverboat, so you just put that down underneath it. And the same with this one, you would have to put a Soviet one underneath it. And then the monitor itself, this sculpture, you put in C-Zone 25. So that's the C-Zone just outside of, the English Channel. This is C-Zone 25 in here. So there you go there, and then you can move up a river. Like here's a river here. You see how I'm going, and you can see why perhaps you'd want to use the marker. Like that ship is pretty big when you start getting into territories, so you can just say, okay, he's going up the river here, and he's going, you know, so you can use that in a territory. So that's this set here. It's a pretty simple set, and it's called River Monitors. So take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.